Hi, everybody. It's me again, recording another .com talk. This one is tangentially related to the Kennedy assassination. Back in 1965, I was a sophomore student at LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. One of the courses I was taking was abnormal psychology. I think the professor's name was Caldwell, Dr. Caldwell, but I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I am sure about this. Dr. Caldwell was preparing us for our field trip. The students, maybe 110 of us in that class, that sophomore level class, Psych 201 or whatever it was, abnormal psychology, were to take a field trip to Pineville Mental Hospital in Pineville, Louisiana. There was one in Jackson, Louisiana, one in Pineville at the time. And we were scheduled to go to the one in Pineville. This, of course, was, well, it wasn't of course, but it was in the fall of the year, fall semester. And so 2 years prior to that, obviously, was 1963, and in the late fall of that year is when John F. Kennedy was murdered or assassinated. Dr. Caldwell our professor, who I think was Dr. Caldwell, told us about a field trip that he had chaperoned 2 years previously in the fall of 1963, wherein on their trip through the mental institution in Pineville, a man, ran up to their group and said, "I know this sounds crazy." I mean, this is what the man said. "I know this sounds crazy, but I need to tell somebody so that they can get the word out that President Kennedy is supposed to go to Dallas in November, and there's a plot to assassinate him." I was at a shooting range, a rifle range outside of Dallas a short while ago, and I heard two men laughing and talking as they were sighting in their rifles. They were talking about the assassination of JFK when he goes to Dallas. Well, this guy was the guy that was talking was immediately apprehended by two guys in white suits, orderlies or security or whatever they were at the institution, and hauled off kicking and screaming. I'm telling the truth. It's going to happen. Need to get the word out, get the word to President Kennedy. Now, Dr. Caldwell told his students, I say Dr. Caldwell, the professor told his students that this was a perfect example of paranoid schizophrenia, that this guy obviously believed the delusion that he obviously believed what he was saying. He wasn't faking it. He was being very honest, but he was delusional. And so this is a perfect example of psychosis, of schizophrenia, and paranoid delusions, and a paranoid delusional system that is complex, and that the person experiencing the delusions believes them to be the truth. And he used this as an example a schizophrenic delusional system to the students in the group that he was chaperoning that day. Of course, soon thereafter, John Kennedy was assassinated by rifle fire in Dallas, in his trip to Dallas. I have spoken to this issue in two other Doc Tom talks. One was concerning James Files, and the other was concerning Jack Rubenstein, alias Jack Ruby. You might refer to those. But I heard my professor told the class of abnormal psychology students at LSU about this experience 2 years after the Kennedy assassination, and way before I knew anything much about nothing about James Files, very little about Jack Rubenstein and his history, and very little about Lee Harvey Oswald. Take it for what it's worth. I was there. I'm sure that our professor was not lying to us about his experiences that day and at the Pineville Mental Hospital in Pineville, Louisiana.